my Sea Dog shirt in there. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how I made my trailer for my book Where Creatures Hide. If you haven't seen my trailer already, I'll link it somewhere up here or down below so that you can go watch it. So number one to making my book trailer, I just had an idea about how I wanted it to look. So because I knew my book anyway, I knew the landscapes, the atmosphere, the feeling that I wanted to portray because I wrote the book. So it was so easy. But bearing in mind that I actually had to work with what I had, not what I didn't have. So first of all, I actually wanted this big production and I wanted, like, you know, this wall mirror and have like a science lab and then have people like disappearing, and it was quite silly. I wouldn't have been able to do it for sure because it was way out of my price budget, way too far away. Like, you know, I had asked this film school if they would help me and they weren't really keen to do it until like next year when my book was, like, you know, already out, so that wasn't gonna work. But anyway, I had that envisioned. I wrote a little bit of points down, like what I wanted and stuff, but really I just had it in my head, which is how I tend to work better with it in my head. Number two was I YouTubed a few filming tactics, like having my character as far away from me as possible and me as far away from my character as possible, and zooming in so that her background is more blurred, and that was just the kind of effect I wanted because it gave it that more cinematic look, as well as using like cinematic black bars and color grading and slow motion. Those are tips if you want some tips. Okay. The third thing is to find a location. Now, because my book is based in New Zealand is quite a green country, so I really wanted to pick up that kind of foresty, fantasy, elvish feeling. It's got elves in it, but it's not like, you know, elves, fantasy, forest, you get it. And also my character wakes up from ice, and of course there was no way in hell I was going to be able to have my character in ice. Like, Lord, I don't know how I would have done that. So instead I just put her in water, which felt like ice. Yeah. My idea and my location down and a little bit of filming tips on the way. It is now time for me to cast, and I did that by just literally making like a little Facebook ad asking if anyone would be interested in, you know, acting for my trailer. It wasn't paid, it was more experience based. So I had a lot of applicants and I only ended up using, obviously, one. Her name is Mackenzie.
How are you feeling? It's freezing.
And she is just super lovely, so funny. She made the entire thing super amazing. Now with my casting done, I can start with costuming, and my mum had this really beautiful purple dress just sitting in her wardrobe, kind of just like, hey, I'm chill here. So I used that, and then I had some like gold bangles that I got for Christmas that, like, you know, could come up to here, and I just ended up tying this leftover material from my mum's birthday, and it was like pink and shimmery, so I just ended up tying that to the bangles and putting them over here to make it look like, you know, it was all flowy and fantasy and stuff like that. So that was free. I didn't have to pay for my actor and I didn't have to pay for my costuming because I had everything, and I was just like, you know, just asking around, and yeah. Now that you have everything sorted, it's time to film. Okay, now day one filming. We ended up doing the water scene first, and we went to a waterfall that was like 40 minutes out of town, and it was really beautiful. Cold because it was the start of winter, but it was really beautiful. And Mackenzie was a superstar, and she just kind of like bombed that water. She was so cool. She was, oh, I can't even deal. So I ended up picking her up from school and we just shot straight out to the forest and started filming because we only had like an hour worth of light at that time. and she was running, she was, you know, following all my orders, and we had a lot of fun doing it, like a lot of fun. I hadn't laughed that hard in so long. Here's a little clip. Go, 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 go. Now with my filming done, it is time to edit, but this is where things get tricky. So it actually took me a good 6 months to complete the final edit of my trailer and make it not look cheap, because when I was doing it, for some reason it just wasn't working. I had my trailer piece written, which is like, you know, what you hear when you're saying, or when you're watching the trailer.
They say that when you lose your memory, it's a way of coping with damage. But I woke in a world of white walls, enchanted lands, and the tale of a princess who will save us all. I may not know much, but I do know one thing. There's somebody out there that doesn't want me to find it. I'll do whatever it takes to keep it from me. They say that when you lose your memory, it's a way of coping with damage. But they didn't tell me the damage was me.
And I thought I liked it at the time, and I probably did, and then I left it, and then I went back, and then I was like, I really don't like it, it looks so cheap. So I went back and I kind of went on holiday and sat down and was like, alright, we've really got to work on this. This was a few months later. I had literally just dropped it and was like, you know what, I'm just going to leave that because I'm not entirely sure what to do. I'll come back to it, it'll be fine. And I came back to it and wrote another piece, and it was Deep in the Mountains Where Birds Fly Free, a prison that traps creatures including me, if you've seen my trailer. I decided that I would make it a poem to make it seem 1, intense, 2, childish, and 3, you know that it's going to be like a fantasy theme. And I could actually tell you the blurb of my story in poem form. So that was kind of like a sneaky way to, you know, push out my trailer and push out the story of my book. When I was editing, the best thing I did was actually go on YouTube and look at other people's book trailers, like professional book trailers, and I copied off them like their transitions, their usage of lens flares and like fades, and they used like professional wording and things like that, and like how they, you know, did the book in at the end of the trailer. I copied everything. So that is one thing. If you're wanting to make a trailer, copy my trailer, copy other people's trailer, because there's an actual formula to doing it, and you'll see it once you watch a few good ones. Please watch good ones, because I've seen some really bad ones and they're professional and they're horrible. So also, I actually paid a few voiceovers to voice over what I was trying to say, the like poem I was trying to say, and each time they were coming back it just wasn't good. So like, you know, I would change it, and then you know, I would post my trailer online on writers groups to see what they thought of it. The first one, people thought that that she was talking too fast.
Deep in the mountains where birds fly free, a prison that traps creatures, including me.
The second one sounded like she was stuttering and mumbling her words.
Deep in the mountains where birds fly free, a prison that traps creatures, including me.
And then I think I was just like, you know what, it's set in New Zealand, why don't I just, you know, do a New Zealand one, because I was really against doing it, just because New Zealanders have a really, and this is how I feel, but when I watch New Zealand movies, I'm like, ah, they're so cheap, like, you so know that it's from New Zealand, because they just sound cheap. It's our accents that really get me. So I really didn't want that in my trailer, but I ended up doing it, and the voiceover is actually me.
Deep in the mountains where birds fly free, a prison that traps creatures, including me.
I brought a microphone for my singing.
out the darkness and into the sun. Beauty is pain, there's beauty in everything. What's a little bit on there?
The other thing is music choice. So the hard thing about trailers is that you actually have to get like royalty free music trailers or buy music, and I didn't really want to spend like, you know, a large amount of money on this trailer, just because I knew I actually wouldn't have to. So I just ended up looking for royalty free trailer music online and found this one track that I really liked. It actually took me months to find it. It wasn't like, oh, I searched in this one night and it came up. Yeah, it actually took me months to find that certain track, and it was actually just by sheer luck that I found it. I went on Fiverr.com and ended up hiring someone to, like, you know, do my trailer titles, which I will show here. And it cost me $5 US, which is $8 something in New Zealand dollars. And you can pick as many texts as you want, and it honestly made my trailer look 1,000 times better as well. I edited it on iMovie, I edited my music and sound effects and voiceover on GarageBand, and I just filmed on what I'm filming on now, which is a Canon EOS 700D. So I really just used everything I had. The other thing I did was I asked people for their opinion on my trailer before I posted it online. So I uploaded it to YouTube and I made it unlisted so only people with the link could see. And then because I'm on a bunch of writers groups, I just ended up posting the link on there saying, look, can you guys judge the hell out of my trailer because I want it to be perfect, the voice, the music, the filming, the effects, blah blah blah, and they will nitty grit pick everything in the most kindest way, because I actually really never had a bad comment about it. They were always helpful and I needed that, and I think that that's why it helped a lot. I would have posted a shitty trailer if it wasn't for the writers groups I was in. So if you are from the writers groups and you're watching this and you have helped with my trailer, thank you so much. So boom, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment in the description or the comment box below. Also, I will be sending out 3 chapters of my novel Where Creatures Hide to those in my mailing list, which is a week before normal people that aren't on my mailing list get the first chapter. Not 1, 2 and 3, but just the first one. And then the week after that they get chapter 2, and then the week after that they get chapter 3. So if you want all 3 chapters at the very start, jump on my mailing list. I'll leave my website in the description below. All you have to do is literally click on the link. If you're on a computer, a little box will pop up saying sign up to my mailing list now, and if you're on a phone you can scroll all the way down to any page and there'll be a little box at the bottom where you can just check your emailing list. So yeah, that's exciting. I hope you guys enjoy this video and have a great day. Oh, and I might end up with my trailer. Here's my trailer.
Deep in the mountains where birds fly free, a prison that traps creatures, including me. In an orb of ice, I work with this. 4 white walls and a demon's wish of a princess with hair white as snow and eyes like the sun that glimmer and glow, who will save her people and lead them home with power of the moon that's burst and bone. To her darkest rose I will abide, in this land where creatures hide.